Hello you lovely people and welcome. In this video I will be taking a look at the Inidesign / Asobo / Microsoft version of the Antonov AN-225 Myria. Now as you can see, it comes with a few liveries. One that's been made up with the Be Brave Like Ukraine on the nose, the one it was using before destruction between 2010 and 2022. Then we have the 2006-2008 livery, 2008-2009 livery, the awful liveries that are included for the Aviators and Xbox Aviators Club, which serve no purpose. I don't know why they've been added, and why there's even an Xbox livery when it's not even out for Xbox yet. I don't know. And then we've got a blank one. Now, me being a sucker for historical liveries, somebody's gone and made a Soviet Union style livery back in its Buran stage of life, what it was originally designed to carry. So for the purpose of this video, I'll be using that. It's not politically motivated, so please don't jump down my throat because it's Soviet Union and Ukraine and all that sort of stuff. That has no bearing whatsoever on this video. So I'm just going to go for the 1988 variant, and we will jump in and take a look at it. So there she is, and what a beast she is. Originally named the Article 400, but changed to AN-225 because it can carry 225 tons in weight. You can see where the origins of the aircraft actually come from, being basically a stretched an add-on to the AN-124 Condor, which is what they went for in the end. At the time the design of this aircraft, it was either that or the Myria M4 Bison, and the Soviet Union just decided to go with Antonov's proposal, and they basically stretched the fuselage, added extra landing gear with steering ability in the aft section. They stretched the wings, redesigned a whole new wing spar for it, added 2 extra D18T turbo fans, and split the fin to sit either side of the tail planes there, and then included 2 little bumps in the mid fuselage area for the Buran to sit on. So yeah, I mean, I've gone for the Soviet era livery simply because of the historical part of that being part of the space race and the Buran era, and we are currently sitting at Antonov Airfield, or Hostomel as it's also known, where it was ultimately destroyed a year ago. So yeah, I mean, this thing doesn't have back loading doors. Everything is loaded and unloaded from the nose section, which I will show you bits of shortly. But yeah, that's the external, and very nice model indeed, quite detailed in its ways. But let's jump in the cockpit and have a look. So inside, sitting in the captain's chair at the moment. As you can see, we've got lots of old style steam gauge gauges in front of us. We do have a Garmin there for navigational purposes. We do have electronic flight boards here, which I'll go through in a second. But not everything in the cockpit is clickable, so just be wary of that. I mean, there are a lot of things in here that don't light up, and yeah, just not to expect too much from the aircraft. You have 6 seating positions, all of which have their part to play in the startup. You can start up straight away automatically using the electronic flight board. As you can see, it says ready to fly there. You just click that, everything's ready to go. Or you can have fun and have a really quite in-depth startup procedure for what this aircraft offers, and that will come in another video, because I really do enjoy actually jumping from station to station to get the beast up and running. So look out for that when that comes out. But yeah, like I say, you can hide the flight yokes. You've got just lovely little things like if we click here, and that's a reverse thrust handle there. Just little things like that. I love the little details, which is great. A lot of it is in Cyrillic, so some of it won't be readable on some of the gauges. You can change the language to English, but it doesn't change everything. So there are switches that you will need to flick that will be in Cyrillic, but if you go through the actual checklist, you won't have any problems. So yeah, like I say, captain seat, co-pilot seat, no point in showing you that. Okay, and we are in the electronic officer's position at the back on the right hand side, where we'll have all of the sort of generators and ground power and things like that. So we've got those switches to do here. Here we have the engineer's seat for engines, hydraulics, fuel and all that sort of stuff. Again, we have all these switches to flick. APU's section is right there. It's also handy to have the labels on, so you know what you're clicking as well. Like I say, it's in Cyrillic, but the label itself is not. This is the nav seat. Obviously we've got all our radios and guidance equipment. The radio stacks are up here, over here. So yeah, a busy station, to make sure that everything is all loaded up nicely. Barometers, VORs, things like that can all be done here. They can be done from the front, but they can also be done here. Then lastly, we have the cargo hold. As you can see at the moment, I'm lugging a load of boxes, spare wheels for the undercarriage, and we have a trolley, and an internal crane, and that is the steps leading up to the flying crew area, and that's our exit. And then we've got the nose here. I'm going to show you that next, so let's get onto the electronic flight board. Okay, so let's look at the electronic flight board. We're on the dashboard at the moment. As you can see, it will show your flight plan, your departure, arrival, flight plan there, your weather, both ends. You can load your flight plan from GPS if you've done it that way, and you can quick start the aircraft here by clicking this, and all systems will start up instantly. And you can go to your configure. If you click that, it just takes you to the ground page. And on the ground page, this is where you change your payload. You can start the GPU, which is essential if you're going to do any payload swaps. Chocks, main door, which is the nose door, cabin door, internal door, and lighting for cargo bay and passenger area. You go into payload, you can shift things around and apply it on passenger load and cargo load. Come down to weather. Like I say, just look up an airport. Let's go for, I don't know, EGSS, Stansted. Nothing. Oh, there we go. So there we go. We've got, it's 5 degrees, dew point 1 degree, visibility, no worries about that. your HPA is 1029, clouds broken at 2300, and winds at 8 from 020. So that's a handy tool to have. If we come down to our converter, if you want to know your weights, your distances, to change them, as this is all in metric, you can change everything there and get a quick conversion. And if you come down to options, you can actually change it so that weights are in metric or imperial. Your autopilot altitude window is in 1 second or 100 seconds. You can change it to default Cyrillic or English and realism. I've got it as fast at the moment simply because on realistic, opening that nose door takes an age. It really does. So it's on fast for the moment, but I would normally have it on realistic. So if we go to payload, actually wait, no, it's ground. We need the GPU on, so I'm going to do the quick way of doing it there. Okay, and we need to, well, I'm going to put the chocks on. Open the main doors. We quickly jump outside. Okay, so the nose door will unfold. Two legs will come down underneath the ramp. The nose will gear will droop or sag, and then the ramp will unfold. Now unfortunately we've got a pushback trolley here, a tug in the way, so that's not really going to look that great with that sitting there, so just ignore it for now. Now you can imagine this is on fast at the moment. If it was on realistic, it does take a very long time, but then that's the realism of it all, I suppose. Okay, these two legs will start to drop. There we go, it started moving. And there goes the nose gear. And finally the ramp. Okay, finally it's finished. Okay, we look down the cargo bay there. Now, my one thing of question here is it seems that we only have the front section of the aircraft showing on the cargo bay. It's not. I don't know if you can get beyond that part there or not, as it just seems to be just the front section of the aircraft. Now if we jump back to the electronic flight board, now before I carry on, just to mention that there is a bug. If you're in the external view watching all of this happen and jump back in, you'll find that your view is shifted up through the roof of the fuselage. So just watch out for that. There is an easy way to get around it. Just press the down arrow on your keyboard. It should bring you back down into your original position. Not sure why it does that. It's a bit strange, but just be on the lookout for that. Right, now to carry on. Now you can't change your payload, cargo, whatever you want to call it, unless the nose door is open. And what we have here is obviously a load of pallets with boxes on top, and it's currently active, as you can see there. Now we can change it. We could load a truck on. We could load two fire trucks on. We could load a train on, or 3 helicopters, or a boiler. And those are the options that come with the aircraft. So I'm going to change it so that it's 3 helicopters. So I'll unload the cargo that's currently on, and then load the helicopters on, currently active. If I jump outside and have a look, if you look down the ramp there into the fuselage, you'll see that we've got our 3 helicopters. No particular make as far as I'm aware, just generic helicopters. So that's how you change your payload, and then we have to close everything up before we can get going. So we jump back into the cockpit. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll click on the main door, get that closed. I'll speed that up. Even in fast mode that takes forever. Right, just jump back in. So take the chocks off. Okay, we can shut the GPU down because we don't need the ground power unit. Okay, so next thing will be I'll be started up, and we'll get it up in the air and go through some of the characteristics. Okay, 3, 2, 1, parking brake off. The sounds from the inside are quite good. We're up. Stop bringing the flaps up. As you see, we've got a gauge on our indicated airspeed gauge here. We have a candy stripe kind of needle, and that tells you maximum speed for that droop on the flaps. Now, one thing I have got a complaint about is the trim. It's an absolute pain in the backside. It's way too sensitive, and shifts way too quickly. That's my one gripe about this aeroplane. It feels like an Asobo add-on. Not too impressed with the trim on this, so hopefully something can be done about that. You can't trim out. I'm trying to trim out so that I don't rely on autopilot, but it doesn't seem possible. Okay, so we're doing nearly 500 knots. I'm going to take it round and bring it back into Hostimal. Now, aileron roll seems a bit overly sensitive for what it is. I would expect it to be a little bit slower in the turn rate there, but okay, it's okay for what it is, like I say. The pitch also again feels overly sensitive. It's like they've rushed that part of the aircraft for release. I feel they've rushed it slightly to get it out on the anniversary of its destruction, to be honest. But we do have an Antonov 225 in-flight sim, so I guess I shouldn't complain too much. Now, the autopilot I can't show you because even though I've attempted to use it numerous times, I can't get my head around it at the moment. It's a system like I've never known before, but I will make a video of that once I've got my head around it. We'll level out here. Okay, let's have a listen to the sounds while we're outside. That's on full power. Okay, let's throttle down. Yeah, not too bad. Jump back in. So we're around about 5,000 feet. And start turning in a minute. Slow the aircraft down. Put the air brakes out, which the indicator is here, just to let you know. Get the flaps down a little bit more. Gear down, bring the air brakes back in, so this thing has an approach speed of around about 350 knots, which is this yellow tab here. Start turning in. Perhaps down more. Okay, start working our way to get in line with Antonov airfield. Keeping an eye on not letting the aircraft stall, because that can easily happen if you're not watching what you're doing. Another great little feature is if you're virtually hot, you can switch this fan on. I don't remember where the fan switch is. Which is brilliant. But it can be done. Maybe we'll have a look when we get on the ground. I'll be honest, there doesn't feel like there's any weight to the aircraft at all. It feels like I'm flying a feather at the moment. we're down. Reverse thrust in. See, now I get the impression of weight from the reverse thrust as well, because it's not an immediate effect and it's pretty good. But like I say, it's like flying a feather at some points in the flight. So just going to park up at the end of the runway. No point trying to turn it. We'll bring it all the way back down to the taxiway because it's just going to extend the video, and I know a lot of people get bored halfway through. Right, start turning. Okay, and start turning around again. I'll just leave it here. Right, okay, so like I said, good aircraft, lots of little bits and pieces, even moving the fan around. Like I say, it's the little things that I find interesting. There goes, there's the fan switch. Not needed, but it's in there. Little things like that, it's great. So I'll switch that off. So yeah, okay, so we'll get on to the summary, I suppose. Just leave the plane here. So, quick summary. The Inibuilds / Asobo / Microsoft AN-225 Myria. Not that bad. Not that bad at all. I mean, Ini Designs are a good developer anyway. I was expecting a bit of brilliance from them, to be fair, but I think the Asobo Microsoft side, the collaboration is never a good thing with those two. Inibuilds should have gone this alone, really, because I think it would have been a hell of a lot better. Priced at £16 or $20, you get what you pay for, I'll be honest. The sounds won't blow your eardrums out, but they'll suffice. The model itself is very good. Internals are great. The in-depth startup is a lovely little thing. It's not too in-depth, but it involves quite a lot of switches and dials and things to get the thing alive. The different cargo that you can carry is a nice feature. But the flight characteristics, I don't feel like I'm flying a heavy aircraft. When you lift off from the runway, there's no heave there. That I don't know if you can work out what I mean, but when something gets up in the air, there's usually a sort of a fight against it, and it looks like you're pulling on some weight. This just leapt into the air, and that was fully loaded. I could probably understand that if it was empty, but that wasn't the case in the flight. The trim is awful. I think that's the first time I've ever said that in any of my videos. It really is awful. If you use a trim wheel or a dial of sorts, you might find it okay, but just overly sensitive. Especially as most trims are done with a kind of a hat switch anyway, fighter designed anyway. I know it's with a wheel in big things like airliners and whatever, but that shouldn't really make any difference on the trim. They really do need to dial that in. Yeah, I mean, overall it's good, edging on great, I suppose. The appeal of it at the moment, with the original being destroyed and Antonov saying that they were going to spend $500 million on a rebuild, well, not a rebuild, but using parts of the original and making a fresh one out of the second fuselage that they have laying around, and this helping to fund it. Now, I've heard various things about the funding from buying this aircraft. One is they're totally giving everything that is spent on this to Antonov or to the cause, and that's how it is. But business being business, you know, in the background that's not the case. I've heard other stories where it says any profits made from the aircraft will go towards the fund, and I've also heard that it's only for the first year of its sale. Now, read into those what you will. Googling it, I found those. To be honest, I'm not a fan of that part of the thing now. I mean, if it truly is that majority of the money is going to the rebuilding of the aircraft, then yes, yeah, fair enough. But business is business, and usually there are hidden agendas in the background, and not all is what it seems. So take that with a pinch of salt. Secondly, the liveries, very nice. These 4. Blank one, okay, I can take. These ridiculous Microsoft liveries, why? They're a waste of storage, they're a waste of anyone's time designing them for it. I don't know anybody who wants these liveries. Okay, fair enough, you can say, oh well, don't use them, but that's not the point. They're there. They've put Asobo and Microsoft have put their grubby paw on top of what should be a great aircraft and a good addition. But again, the collaboration with Asobo and Microsoft should not be done. The developers should stick to their own and keep as far away from Asobo as possible, as we all know what they've done with the sim so far and the trouble they've caused with all the developers. So that's my rant, and the first ever review where I've gone into it not expecting too much and found more issues than I thought there would be with it. Again, £16, worth it, but take into consideration the background of where that money's being spent. Also the fact that you've got Asobo in with Inibuilds here, so the plane is not going to be as good as it could be. And yeah, there you go. I spent my £16 on it, and if they're going to make updates to it and fix the issues, then yeah, I'll be happy. If it just gets left like this, which, knowing Asobo, yeah. Anyway, rant over, and end of the video. So if you got this far and you've still stuck around and you've kept your subscription after my rant there, thank you, I appreciate it very much. And I hope you got something from this video, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.